Hello there, this is Urban Science Adventures at a science conference. You all know how much I love to share science with you even when I go to my professional conferences. And I came across this really great poster about the eastern bluebird, which is the state bird of Missouri. So many of you may have noticed it throughout the Midwestern United States and maybe some parts of the Mid-South. But this bluebird, which is a very bluebird, it's not like the blue jay, but it's truly a bluebird, has some very interesting behavior. And I want you to meet my new friend, Elizabeth Carlton. She goes to the Indiana University, and while she was an undergraduate, so when she was in college the first time, she did a research study with a friend of mine looking at birds. And so, Elizabeth, if you'll tell Urban Science Adventurers more about your research project.
Okay. Well, so I decided to study the bluebird because the blue color is just so beautiful and bright. But it's not just for looking pretty. It actually turns out that the blue in bluebirds can signal things to other bluebirds. It acts as a form of communication, and it's what we call an honest signal of quality. And so you might be familiar with some other honest signals, like the antlers of deer or a big tail of a peacock. These honest signals are exaggerated traits that an animal might show that are very costly to produce. And if an animal doesn't have enough energy to produce it, it won't be able to survive. So animals can't actually cheat and make a signal if they don't have the energy to do it. So,
Okay.
So what I looked at this honest signal of color in the bluebird, and I found that blueness could tell a bird information about the nutritional condition of the bird, so how much food it was actually getting. It can also give a signal to a male or female when they're deciding to form a pair bond and mate. It can give them information about the amount of parental care a bird can provide.
So more blue is good, right?
More blue is good. So, for instance, one thing that I found is that bluer parents, bluer bluebirds, they raise chicks that are heavier when they leave the nest. And being a heavy chick is really important because heavier chicks in general tend to survive longer, and they can make it through their first fall and winter season and survive to have their own chicks and mate. And so that's a really important thing to assess when you're picking out a mate.
So more blue is good. More blue tends to lead to heavier babies, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
And the heavier you are or better fed you are, you survive better so that you can become a very dark blue parent one day.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Anything else about how the blue might communicate how healthy an individual is? Not just if they're good, their behavior or their heaviness. Does it say anything else about their other health conditions?
Well, I also wanted to see if blue was related to an index of immunity, so how strong a bird's immune system was.
Okay.
And I looked for a correlation between blueness and a level of natural antibodies, which is
how well they can fight off disease.
How well they can fight off a disease when they first come in contact with it. And I didn't find that there is any relationship between that. But other studies looking at honest signals have found that there are relationships between the quality of the signal and things like immune function.
So we can't show that, but for the most part, we can say that darker bluebird, the more blue it is, for the most part, if we saw one in our backyard, it's probably fair to say that that's a pretty healthy bird, and they're probably doing well.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you.
All right.